Welcome, foolish mortals. How are you guys doing? I know I'm a little early, but foolish mortals, how are you guys doing? Whoa. Whoops. Sorry about that. Apparently I had another window open somewhere. So I think I need to figure out the latency on this to actually bring us slightly more live. I'm not sure how close everything really is. But glad to see you guys. Hey, Nate, what's up? Just got off Mr. Stargill's stream. He has been monetized, and he's got his super chats and everything open, so he's good to go. So sleeping's not feeling so well, so I'm not sure if he'll drop in. But apart from that, how was everybody's day? It's nice. It's nice out here in Colorado. We had about almost 60 degrees today. See, 30 seconds, I guess I can deal with that, but doesn't work very well on the live streams for the WandaVision, because then I'm saying things that are ahead. I'll have to try and remember that. Not much, Dave. How you doing? And Sandra, I know you don't actually have any content on your page, but I subscribed anyway. So you have no content, and you're getting close to 30 subscribers. So, tell me about it. I've given up for the moment. Somebody I know has found 3 of them. It looks like each store got 1. So, or at least that's what the Walgreens he was at told him, is that they got 1 and they think everybody got 1. So, and it was in their repack boxes. So, if they didn't work their repack boxes out this week, then you're not going to find them. Hey, TW, how you doing? But supposedly this week, they're supposed to be getting a little better restock in on G.I. Joe. So might get that Zartan. Although, I really wish that Zartan had the color change face like the other one used to and stuff. But, yeah, I don't know where. Is it weird to you that they're finding Ant-Man and the Wasp stuff just laying around? They must have had those in a warehouse somewhere, because the other thing that's just showed up for no reason is Batman minifigs, from the Batman movie 2. And those were a couple series ago, and just all of a sudden there's like 5 or 6 of them on the peg hooks there. I saw that, Sandra. I saw the two projects. I did not push on the buttons yet, but I will at some point. But yeah, so the hunt is I got a couple hunts coming, and found some WWF, but not a whole lot of pretty much anything else. AEW and WWE seem to be about what's restocking. They're still not restocking a lot of Star Wars or anything else. But, see, mine didn't have any Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then all of a sudden they had a couple. And same with Fantastic Four. They had like 2 Ant-Man and the Wasps and 2 Fantastic Four figures. So I don't know if that's something that was laying around places and they just got, or what. You'll have to forgive me. My throat's a little dry today. It's like 60 degrees here, and it was like 20 yesterday. So, yep. See, Sandra, you gotta go make some more content now. Now you have followers. That's how it works. The more followers you make, the more you have to put out. But we'll probably wait until about 5:10 to open the mystery box. I did get came home to this guy sitting on the porch. Super happy with him. Incinerator Trooper, number 177 in the vintage line. So I finally got that set complete. But I gotta just bought another 100 of these protectors to put stuff in. So I'm going to put all my Super 7 and G.I. Joes and Star Wars in there, and I'm going to start putting them back up on my walls. And a lot of Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones. I'm going to put my collection back out. I took it down a while ago. Actually, I took it down after Rise of Skywalker, maybe even The Last Jedi. I just didn't want to see Star Wars anymore. But now I'm doing good. Well, thanks for stopping by, Sleeping. I know you're not feeling so hot, but hopefully it's not the thing that shall not be named, and just a minor cold. Oh, good. Well, not oh, good. Sinus infections suck too, but it's better than the alternative. That's what I kind of thought this morning when I got up too. Is I really didn't feel good, but in the end, it's just my sinuses are all backed up because of the constant change in pressure here, and going from, it was -8 last week, it's 60 today, it's supposed to be 60ish tomorrow, and then snow again on Wednesday. So yeah, plus Sleeping, you can just take like a half bottle of NyQuil and knock yourself out for a little while. That's generally what I do. If I have any sniffles or anything, I teach it a lesson by simply taking half a bottle of NyQuil and then going to sleep. Ginger ale is always good. Ginger ale will always help you. I had somebody who always suggested Sprite, but when I drink Sprite, sometimes I get like a film on my throat. Yep, NyQuil and a night-night. It's a nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can rest medicine. But, or you could just take, 2 or 3 shots of Jack and then take a nap. Either way, medically induced is always good. But, what else did I see out today? That's about it. Really, I did pick up 2 more packs of Pokemon, so I'm going to open those up in another video. When I got my stupid piecework card from Rocco, the aforementioned Olive Garden bag autograph piecework card. It's hilarious. Considering I collect autographs and pieceworks, it will go into my collection, and so I think that's really it. I didn't really see that much else out today. I could do the if I could remember everything that was done in the Nexus one for WandaVision. May make you face your fears, may cause increased depression. Yeah. They make me do all the overhead announcements at work, because they say my voice is clear enough that people can understand what I'm saying. Then other people say I have a weird accent, which I don't get because I'm from Kansas and we don't really have accents. We're kind of in the middle of the country, far from the whole, And Chubby calls me Baloo. All right there, little britches. Road Warrior Super 7 figures would be pretty awesome. I'm still waiting for them to do their toy fair stuff. And they made some little announcements, but they didn't really show anything. But that Mezco stuff they've been showing is, man, just incredible. Those new Planet of the Apes figures are beautiful. That new Power Ranger, the Green Ranger, is really nice too. There's an Ultraman in there. They've been showing some nice stuff. And that Batman, Gotham Knights, not Gotham Knights, Gotham by Gaslight Batman is just incredible looking. I may have to get that one. We'll see. I don't really buy hot toy type Mezco stuff because I don't spend $100 on figures. But I looked at that Dr. Zaius yesterday, and it's incredible. you know, somebody sent me a meme today. See if I can pull it up. Where was it? Oops. Pictures. Oh, I must have already gotten rid of that. Darn it. I hate when I do that. But it's oh, here it is. And I killed Sparky too. And of course, everybody's reaction after that. But yeah, those are the only thing is you're probably not going to see the Mezco stuff sold at Target. So that's where NECA is still going to have its window of opportunity. You know, it's one of those if they're just nice. They're great figures, but NECA's going to have that corner in Walmart and at Target for a while. But I can't wait to see what else they put out. I've really been looking for those NECA not Guardians of the Galaxy, the Defenders of the Earth figures, because not a lot of people remember that cartoon at all to start with. And it's odd that they're even making stuff for it. But I do have the cards based on that, and a couple other little things. But and I've got the Phantom Pop and stuff like that, but they never did the Flash Gordon or anything like that for the comic book or comic versions of those. I really thought they would once they started doing Casper and Archie and things like that, and Sabrina. I thought we'd get like Heathcliff and more stuff like that, but we never really have. Yeah, Nate, it was because it was a weird collection of properties that King Features had, and just kind of merged them all together, and none of it really made sense, but somehow it kind of worked. And they're still talking about remaking that movie. I rewatched that recently. I rewatched that and The Shadow. The Shadow is still a much better movie, but honestly, the fandom wasn't really that bad. I honestly don't remember why I hated it that much when it came out. Of course, it came out, around the same time as Batman and stuff, and they were trying to capitalize, and I think maybe that was it, because Batman '89 was the thing. There was no competing with that. So, yeah, I want to see how far they go with these Defenders of the Earth figures, if they go beyond this first wave or not. But I actually thought Mego had the rights to those, but I'm kind of glad they don't, because these new figures look great. Although I don't know when I'm going to see them. I think I dropped today's hunt video is Wednesday or something, because I got a couple of others coming out, and it's just nothing. There's like 24 feet at my Target that is just blank. It should have Funko in it, should have other stuff in it. It has nothing. And I don't honestly know how them in Walmart sit with whole 4-foot sections in the aisles just being blank. It's crazy to me that they can lose that kind of footage, dollars per foot, to nothing. But, like somebody said the other day, they don't seem to have a problem keeping preschool or dolls or games or puzzles full. But when it comes to figures, all of a sudden, there's just nothing there. Really? Okay, cool. I have to work 6 days again this week, so I might go out Sunday and do something. But we'll see. I really want to do some videos and stuff at 5280s, which is a great toy store here in town. And I'd like to do one at All See Collectibles and at the Brass Armadillo. But Brass Armadillo takes me about 2 or 3 hours to go through just when I'm not videoing things. So I'll need most of a day just to do that. I'm gonna probably break that up into a week-long series just because it's absolutely huge. Yeah, and I think they're going to initially. I honestly think those will eventually become peg warmers, but I think initially they're going to blow off the shelves because everybody's like, wow, this is something new. This is something we really haven't seen, and a lot of people, a lot of millennials and a lot of Zoomers won't even know what they are, and may buy them just because they're kind of cool. But it's hard to tell. It'd be interesting to see if it would relaunch something like get the cartoon out on DVD in a better format. So, but well, it's 5:15, so let's go ahead and open this box. So, again, I have no clue what's in this, but it should be. I can kind of see in the handle here, and I think it's a Hunchback of Notre Dame figure from the Disney line. But all right, let's see what we got here. Oh, okay, cute. Well, the first thing that's going to come out of here is a Marvel Toy Biz figure. This is the Punisher. It's got a plastic cape and really bad head sculpt. Just big fat head Frank Cass. But he does have lots of weapons. He was actually part of a wave with the Invisible Woman and Daredevil and U.S. Agent and a Spider-Man. But he was pretty cool. Hey, Anthony, how you doing? That's the back of him. My mystery boxes come out of my garage. When I packed everything up, I didn't necessarily mark everything well, and because I thought I was going to come back that summer and resort everything, put it all in a spreadsheet so I could keep track of what I had, separate all duplicate stuff out, maybe even sell all that stuff, and I never did that. So what I'm doing now is getting ready for All See Collectibles show in June, and I'm trying to do this backwards now, which is hard to do. There is, in fact, some Hunchback of Notre Dame figures in here. This is Frollo, and he comes with his hat and a knife and a table and a picnic basket. Hey, Frollo, you got a picnic basket? Hey, Landron, how you doing? I might have them all in here. This is the Gargoyles. Hugo. I don't remember their names, apart from Hugo. And as you can see, I got these at KB for $3 for $5. This is Esmeralda, and she comes with her goat, and I don't remember the goat's name. The main man himself, Quasimodo, the King of Fools, which it comes with this great little thing to carry him with, but they didn't make any peasants or anything to carry him with. So Clopin and his little puppet guy. Sadite. And last is Phoebus, played by Kevin Kline in the film. And somewhere down in here must be, no, I think that's actually all of them. Yeah, there were only 6. So that's all those guys. Move stuff already. Hey, Life Anime Gaming, how you doing? Next up, is the Dakota Dude, the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. This was a series made by Hasbro based on the television series, which was kind of a weird new version of Brave Star mixed with Ninja Turtles. There's all the guys. There were 10 different ones. They had a couple little play sets. Codes of the West: never kiss a horse unless you mean it. Always start each day with a glass of moo juice. And always finish your grub before you leave the table. Very good life lessons for a cartoon that really wasn't that great. It was kind of up there. I actually liked it came out around the same time as Bucky O'Hare and the Space Toads. And I liked that one a lot better. Okay, so next up are some Action Fleet Micro Machines. This is a Bantha set. This comes with a Tusken Raider, a Gamorrean Guard, Brea Tanaka, and Bib Fortuna. Next up is Dusty. Mr. Jabba the Hutt himself. Jabba comes with Princess Leia in her Bosch disguise, Princess Leia in her captive outfit, Lando Calrissian, Snai Snoodles, and Tish Tib. Yeah, and it was around the same time as Street Sharks. Yeah. I think even the same animation company may have made both of them. And I do have some Street Sharks somewhere, or I think I do. I'm pretty sure I bought some. Next up is Droid Escape. This is from the beginning of episode 4, of course. This has got C-3PO, R2-D2, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a Stormtrooper. And the container pops open so you can dump everybody inside. Sneak preview for myself. Another one is Dewback. This is oddly kind of based off the special edition versions. It has a Sand Trooper who can ride it. It has Boba Fett. It has Bosk, and it has Guido. Hey, Toy Hunter, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. We're still working our way through the top of this box. This box isn't that huge, but there's more than I thought there'd be because it wasn't very heavy. So this is the Rebel Alliance. This is based off Return of the Jedi, of course. So it comes with 2 speeder bikes with Leia and Luke. Comes with General Lando Calrissian, a Rebel Trooper, and an Echo Base Trooper, a random Hoth piece. But, you know, yeah, the Boba was cool. And I think it's the same exact Boba that came with the Slave 1 that I have here. Let me pop him open and see. Yep. Yeah, it's the same Boba Fett. And of course, this one was tagged by Mr. Jeremy Brett, who played Boba Fett. Let's see. Looks like there's a couple more of these left in here. This is just a land speeder. This comes with Figron Duran from the Cantina Band, and Obi-Wan with his saber out, Mustak, and 3PO, and Lando Calrissian. Or not Lando, Han Solo. Hey, Prince, how you doing? Good to see some older Star Wars stuff today from an older Star Wars collector. Oh, there's like 2 more of these left. Oh, this one's cool. This one is neat. This is an ATST. It comes with the ATST pilot, of course, Lord Vader, a Sand Trooper, and a Scout Trooper. It's weird how half these come with things they shouldn't have in them, like the Hoth Trooper coming with the Land Speeder. That was kind of weird. This one is really cool. This one I always liked. I think I have an open one of this somewhere. This is the Dune Sea set. This comes with Boba Fett again, Chewbacca, Nikto, Han Solo in his post carbonite form, and Luke Skywalker with his saber out. So that one was cool. Okay. Gosh darn. Okay, Galoob, we get the point. These are the last two. This is another one based on the special editions. This is a Ronto. And sleeping, you can get the meat of this fine creature at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. When you get there and get your Ronto roast, this is what you're eating, just so you know. It was a living thing, you monster. Anyway. And it comes with Luke Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Gardarian, Dr. Zavon, and a Jawa. Everybody needs a Jawa. And the last of these battle packs, I guess I already knew that there were at least 10 of them because they're numbered, is an Ewok attack set. This comes with a speeder bike and Luke Skywalker. It comes with Wicket, a random Ewok who can fly, and Apprentice, maybe you can tell me which other Ewok that is. I can't remember which one it was who flew, and it doesn't say on here. And it comes with a Scout Trooper and a random Rebel guy. Yep, get your fill of blue milk, Ronto roasts. Ronto roasts. Okay, next up. Now, a lot of people may or may not know what this is. This is a series of books from Europe called Asterix. And I got these when I was in Europe. This is for the movie Asterix and the Olympics. This is a live action movie. They did cartoons for it for years, and it's got a great following in Europe and in Canada mostly. But, this is the Grand Legionnaire. Generally, Asterix and his village are the last bastion fighting against the Roman intrusion into Germany. And they're the small little town, and they have magic potion that actually gives them superpowers, kind of like the gummy bears. This is Asterix. And his dogmatics. And there were quite a few. I wasn't able to find all of these. Anything Asterix sells out incredibly fast over there, and these are from a while ago. I haven't been to Europe in a little while. These are 97 or 2007. So they were great. This is Asterix's best friend in the whole world, Obelix. And Obelix loves nothing better than to beat on Romans and eat wild boar. For something great you can check on YouTube, there's actually a couple of the Asterix movies are actually on YouTube. And the best one to start with is The 12 Tasks of Asterix. And it's a great film. It was made in the 70s, I think, so it's, it's dated a little bit. But it is actually pretty cool. This is Penmarex. He is the druid who makes the secret potion, which is in that little cauldron there. And let's see, who's this last person? And the last person is a small legionnaire. Now, I don't know why they didn't do a a Caesar outside. You have to actually buy Caesar in his chariot, or I would have liked to have gotten him. But there's actually a couple live action movies, and the live action movies are actually pretty well done. They're very true to the comic as far as the comedy and just the overall story. It's crazy. Somebody knows how to actually make something. See, here's a couple truck pieces. This is Trelane. He may or may not be the classic Treks version of Q. He's actually from an episode called The Squire of Gothos. And he kind of likes to belittle Kirk and his crew, kind of the same way Q does to the Next Generation. Of course, he tried that shit with Sisko, and Sisko punched him in the face. This is Koloth. If you saw my Star Trek video, this is that contest that I was talking about. And you had to rub off and all that stuff to see if you won, if you got any tribbles, that kind of thing. And that was that set I showed you. Was the person who won this contest sold it to me. So he's actually from both Trials and Tribulations and from the Trouble of Tribbles. Oh, some Star Wars again. This is Jawaza and Snai Snoodles. This is based off the, of course, the special editions of when they added that horrible song and ruined Snai. I usually will defend George and his decisions. This was a bad decision, kind of like adding Anakin to the end of Return of the Jedi. But still, some great looking figures. It's a good looking Snai Snoodles, and I would really like to see a black series of Max Rebo and the whole Rebo band. That would be very cool. But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think there's a market for it unless it was some sort of box set with just the three of them, with Droopy McCool and Max Rebo and Snai. It would be kind of costly, but they could do it as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I think people would dig it. This is a deluxe figure. This is back when they relaunched the line in 1996. They did it. This is called a Crowd Control Stormtrooper. I was actually surprised they didn't add some of this stuff into like Rebels and things like that. But this is part of the deluxe series that came with a Luke Skywalker that he was riding on some sort of weird scooter thing. Then there was a Han Solo that had a jetpack. Just weird. And then this came out around the same time as Shadows of the Empire. So, which they're slowly working back into canon. So it'd be cool if they actually do move all of that back in. Okay, let's see what I got here. Looks like a couple older Star Trek figures. This is a Borg. And all these guys are numbered at the bottom on their feet, but my eyes are too bad to read that small print. So this is actually one of the first 10 that came out. Of course, Playmates made these, and they were incredibly popular, helped relaunch Star Trek into a collectibles line, which it hadn't been for a while, since maybe the Mego figures. There had been some Galoob figures for Star Trek 1, and Ertl made some stuff for Star Trek 3, I think it was. But the Shadows book is actually really good, Apprentice, and it's I think it's still canon, maybe not, but I mean it had a toy series. It's the only book I ever know that had a soundtrack, and I'm hoping they bring a lot of that stuff back in, because that's where you get more of the Black Sun, and you get a lot more of manipulation by other people of Vader and the Emperor, and trying to play them off each other, which goes about as well as you could think. But I won't ruin anything. Next is Ferengi. In the beginning, they just did random aliens instead of actually doing ones from the show because they didn't know it was going to be so darn popular. Let's see. Next up is the man everybody loves to hate, Ensign Wesley Crusher. Now, I, like everybody else, hated him. Actually, I'm not really fond of him as a person either. But I thought his character really did get a bad deal. Watching it years later, yeah, he was kind of overbearing, but that was how he was written, and you can only expect actors to do so much with what they're given. If a script is bad but they're a decent actor, then Wheaton. Yeah, everything pre-Disney was decanonized for the most part. There's still bits and pieces. They generally just wiped the slate clean, but they mentioned things here and there that are in there that recanonize bits and pieces of things. So it'll be interesting to see if they pull that in, especially with the Lando series coming up. It might be interesting to see Prince Zizor and some of the other Black Sun guys and the other criminal organizations show up. Well, just like a bad penny, Will Wheaton shows up again. This is Cadet Wesley Crusher, who didn't have to do anything to earn his rank, and then immediately went out and got into a whole bunch of trouble. But as you can see on the side here, he comes with what were called space caps. What there really were pogs. Playmates thought that would be a good idea. They were putting trading cards in that were made by Skybox, and then they put in sky caps that were made by Skybox. And it was the way that they could use the Star Trek license to make pogs and not have to sell them separately. They never did make slammers. Oh, looks like two last things in the box are a couple more figures. This is Captain William Riker as a Malachorian. This is when he went undercover for a while and then got captured, and everybody had to go rescue him. And he kind of slightly fallen in love with somebody. It was a weird episode, but not so bad. And then a great episode. This is Locutus of Borg, and of course, this is from man, my brain just stopped. It probably says on it. No. But anyway, this was a great episode, and this is a great figure. They really do get the likenesses down really well. I mean, this is old. This is 1993. I mean, you put a couple extra little joints and stuff in them, and these could almost be vintage style figures. If Playmates was smart, they would start doing some vintage figures of Star Trek and get the license back and do something with it. It's very annoying that nobody is doing anything for Star Trek just because the new Star Trek is so horrible. Which is a topic I'm willing to discuss if anybody else has some opinions. And if you like new Trek, you like Discovery, and you like that Picard show and the JJ verse, that's cool. I'm fine with that. It is just not my cup of tea. That whole 25% thing, that it had to be 25% different than all other Trek, kind of ruined it for me. And then once CDS and Paramount got back together, now they've gotten rid of that rule, and now, we're not really sure what's real or anything. I think the problem with Disney, and I'm not sure, it's not really a Disney issue, because everybody will tell you that Lucasfilm is being left on its own. The same way that Marvel is being left to do its own thing, and that Pixar is being left to do its own thing. But I don't think that's true. I think Star Wars is such a cash cow that they are actually interfering with the development of the shows in order to push release dates. Um, there was a lot of talk that they didn't want the Rise of Skywalker. Okay, that's not going to go back in the box the way it was. Oh well, let me get this out of the way. And so they wanted to delay it till May and not put it out at Christmas. But by then, what little toys had been produced for it was going to go out, and they didn't want it to interfere. Of course, we saw what we got for Rise of Skywalker, which was almost nothing. We got some vintage figures that got repackaged, and that was really about it. Now, see, I haven't watched the Lower Deck because as much as I've watched most of Rick and Morty, I don't think Star Trek should be made fun of like that. And that's coming from somebody who has not seen the show yet. I will probably watch it at some point, but I don't like, I would have loved a Lower Deck show that was actually more serious. There was an episode of The Next Generation that dealt with that. It was a great episode. The main cast was barely in it, and they dealt with how they deal with people just disappearing. You had to think that would happen a lot. People just go on away missions and never come back, especially in classic Trek. But I have not worked my way into Lower Deck. I really don't think this new Nickelodeon show is my cup of tea either. WandaVision is epic. I love it. The Mandalorian is epic. We'll see how that moves forward without Cara Dune now. Same with Marshals of the New Republic, or Rangers of the New Republic, without her in it. So, that's all up in the air. But I don't think Disney's done a horrible job with Star Wars. I just think that they went into it without a plan. And that seems to be what happened with Star Trek, too. JJ didn't need to reinvent Star Trek. He could have just made a new Star Trek. Hey, John, how you doing? Congratulations again, brother. It is great news. I'm so happy that you got full custody of your daughter. It is wonderful. And we all celebrate with you. The moment we're talking about how Disney's kind of ruined things with Star Wars and how JJ ruined Star Trek. And I think my main problem with Disney was they were pumping stuff out too fast. I really don't think Star Wars can handle a new movie every year. It's not Marvel. It's, you can't pump 22 movies out in 10 years. Star Wars cannot handle that. The story is just not deep enough for that. Without veering off and doing a whole bunch of solo movies, not solo, but you know what I mean. That's where I think the television series really work well, because you can go into a whole bunch of different times. You can go into different areas. You can go into more detail. You could have a 6-episode series or an 8-episode series, and you don't have to have as much filler. With The Force Awakens, as much as it was a remake of Episode 4, I actually really had high hopes going out of that. I hated the whole Han Solo thing, absolutely. But, and I didn't like the way it ended. I really thought it should have ended the way Empire Strikes Back ended, which was, we're going to look for Luke, here we go. And the Falcon shoots off into the, great unknown, and we don't have that minute with Luke that ruins everything. So there were some missteps at the end of The Force Awakens, and they just didn't give the characters anything to develop on. Finn is a great character in some of the EU books. I mean, he's a badass. He is not a janitor. I hate that they made him a janitor. Thank you, Disney, for taking the only black character and making him a janitor. Like there are janitors in the Empire. They have droids that do that stuff. I just, anyway. And Poe, who was supposed to die in the first movie, is actually a decent character in a lot of the EU. Oh, John, I completely agree with you guys. Solo, I think, is going to be a cult classic eventually. I like it. The more times I watch it, the more I like it. The more things I see in it. Now, the kid did his best, and yes, it was very formulaic. We knew everything that was coming, but we knew everything that was pretty much coming in the prequel trilogy too. I would really like to see a Solo television series. Hey, Jurassic, how you doing? I mean, if that means that they just happen to run into him to Solo during the Lando show, cool. But I would actually like to see where that story was going. And you notice that they haven't dropped any books about it. So it's not like they've taken the end of Solo and moved it forward. Now we know what happens to Darth Maul because we've seen the Clone Wars and we've seen Rebels. So we know what happened to Darth Maul and kind of his fall from grace. And Rogue One, I actually really liked Rogue One. I just wish they hadn't killed everybody. I know it's a Dirty Dozen movie, and most of them all died, but you really didn't need the need was not there to kill everybody. But But I think in the Disney era, those are both going to be pretty cool. I would love to see Mando run into. Are you talking about Han, young Han, or Lando? What I'm looking forward to is I would like to see Hondo on Lando's show. I'd love to see him in live action. But I don't think Mando. Everybody complains about the Star Wars universe getting smaller, that it's smaller and smaller. And that's what I've kind of liked about The Mandalorian. Yes, it touches on the Clone Wars. We're on Tatooine way too much. And it would kind of be cool to see Mando run into Solo, but of course, then that would have to be not him, but Harrison Ford, or, age up that kid, a few years. I mean, I guess it's only like 13 years or so after, but still, it would be cool. I think he'd run into Lando better, and it's probably easier to age up Danny Glover or Daniel Glover than age down Harrison, which apparently is a plot point to the new Indiana Jones film. It really sounds like they're going forward with the whole Fountain of Youth thing. But yeah, but we always talk Star Wars. Is there anybody who actually really does like Discovery? And I still haven't seen the end of season 2 and all of season 3 yet. Mostly because I refuse to pay for it. Yeah, he's kind of done. I think from what I've heard, he's actually been contemplating doing voice work because they're moving forward with the Indiana Jones animated series. So, and they have talked to him about actually doing some of the voice work. Now, I think they're just going to cut their losses, find somebody who does an incredible Harrison Ford imitation, like, say, I don't know, Mark Hamill. ATW, welcome back. And do that and save themselves a ton of money. It doesn't have to be Harrison all the time. This whole thing where Indiana Jones has to be Harrison Ford, there have been, 8 people playing Indiana Jones now, I think. Maybe 5. They're the 3 guys from the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, River Phoenix, and Harrison Ford. So there's 5. But live anime gaming, my favorite Star Trek is Deep Space Nine. Just because it's the gray world of Star Trek. I love the whole thing with the Bajorans. I love the Cardassians. Garrick is my favorite character, apart from Odo. Cisco is my favorite captain. I know that's blasphemy, but I love Deep Space Nine. I think Voyager could do pretty well. That new Nickelodeon show has Kate Mulgrew in it in some form, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Okay, Sandra, we'll be here. Probably hang out for a little while longer, as long as anybody wants to talk at least. But Voyager, I didn't like Voyager at first, and then it grew on me. I still think my favorites are still Deep Space Nine, then Classic, then Next Generation, then Enterprise, and Voyager, kind of there. And Enterprise was getting so good at the end. Really, once they were tying it closer to classic Trek, and I think that's why I just slid too much with Discovery, because it was just it forgets canon, and you can't forget. If this is Star Trek, then you have to remember your canon. If this is not Star Trek and this is the JJ verse, then that's fine. Everything's changed, but quit telling me that it's the normal Star Trek universe when it's obviously not. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a new Babylon 5 Deep Space show. Now, did you see that on HBO Max, Babylon 5 has been completely digitally remastered and it's been put on there? Hey, Mark, how you doing? We're talking a little bit about Trek and well, mostly my hatred for JJ Trek, but and how much we like normal Trek. And it would be cool to see a new Babylon 5. I would think you could relaunch Babylon 5 pretty easily by now. You just skip ahead 20 years or something and go from there, which is what Trek should have done. The real problem with Star Trek is it keeps moving backwards. And Gene Roddenberry's thing with Trek was not to look backwards, but to look forward, to see where the human race is going to go and how we deal with issues in the future that we're dealing with now. That's why classic Trek would do stuff with interracial relationships and with war and poverty and things like that. And Deep Space Nine really dove into a whole bunch of those issues. I really was hoping that they do a show that was like 20 years, maybe 15 years or so after Voyager. We could see that how the Alpha Quadrant is dealing with the aftermath of the Dominion War. See how Cardassia was coming back into power. They would have just been coming back. But it's, they keep moving backwards. And backwards is not what I wanted. Enterprise worked pretty well, except for the whole time thing and the hitting a beam in Florida and cutting it off. I mean, we still know that stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that you shouldn't, when you're messing with time, you shouldn't mess with stuff like that. But that's what I was hoping for. And then, of course, Discovery jumped like 1,000 years into the future or something, and from what I understand, we see kind of what the Federation looks like at that point. But I don't need, just like the classic, just like Next Generation broke itself away from classic Trek. Sure, you had DeForest Kelly was in the first episode, and you had Scotty show up, James Doohan show up, and there were little ties back to classic Trek, but not a whole lot. And it made its own thing. It had its, we kept the Klingons, we kept the Romulans, but we added the Cardassians and the Ferengi and the Tal Shiar and all this stuff, and it worked. And then building off that, the entire Star Trek, DS9 and Voyager and Next Generation all running pretty much simultaneously. Would anybody be up for an animated Star Trek series? Not like the Below Decks, but like a real, like, this week we happen to be on Deep Space Nine. We're telling a story. It's a 3 or 4 part story. Then there's a story on what's Worf doing. You kind of can jump around even different timelines, and you could pretty much everybody could do their own voices. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about people aging and looking bad. I mean, look at Tom Baker. Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor, is still doing new episodes of the Fourth Doctor, 30 years or more after his whole series ended. And he does them on they were radio shows, and now they're kind of radio plays. They're really well done. But Jurassic, that's kind of what I thought when they announced that there was going to be an animated series. I was like, oh, cool, we'll get an animated series, kind of drop it in the middle of, Voyager and DS9, toward the end of the Dominion War, or just after the Dominion War. And then we need to decide whether or not the books are canon or not. Right now, no. I don't know who would do it, Life. I don't know who would make it. I mean, it would need to be something really well done. Yeah, Franco, and the animated series was really cool because it gave us aliens that we couldn't possibly do in live action back then. James Doohan voiced a guy, Alok, what's his name? The guy with like 3 arms, who's all red. Gave Major Barrett new voice work to do, and there's a lot of great actors in Star Trek who can do voices, and so an expansion of Trek that way would be good. I mean, Marvel's doing it with the What If series. Star Wars is doing it with that art animated series they've already done, and if you really look at it, that's where Star Wars has really shown, is in their television series. The Clone Wars, even if you have to get through the first season, just because Ahsoka is just horrible. But, the Clone Wars is great. I liked Rebels. Now that last show that seemed to be some sort of weird combination of Resistance, which seemed to be like Hot Wheels in Star Wars world. I didn't really get into that one. I tried. And anime would be epic if they could get somebody who could really do some great animation in a Star Trek world. I would be down for that, but not something so nuts like that Supernatural anime. I don't really need all the blood and guts and all that stuff that comes with some anime stuff. You just make a good animated show. Make the Clone Wars. Look at the Clone Wars. I know a lot of people don't like its animation style, but you have to make, if you're making a show. Yeah, Franco, exactly. You could make Star Trek animated movies and release them on whatever, on CBS Plus or Paramount Plus, whatever it's called now, and out into on DVD. I mean, there's like 30 of those DC movies now. There's tons of them. You could do one for Deep Space Nine. You could fill in holes. IDW just started Star Trek DS9 and Voyager back up as comic books. And the stories have been really well done. And in animation, you don't have to worry about any of the, people in costumes and taking weeks to do something, or even, the dreaded C word interfering with some of your animation, because some of that stuff can be done at home. And Franco, you're absolutely right. DC is where the television series is, even the Arrowverse, which is, the CW stuff, is its own thing, and their animated shows, that's where they've done real well. I just don't understand why their live action division just doesn't understand how to do that, and how to grab it. And yeah, I know several of the last couple have been weird, and that's been mostly because, from what I understand, they keep changing the comic to either make it longer or whatever. And if you're going to do that, then you need to really get the people who understand the comic in, like, was it Death in the Family? Which one was it where Barbara Gordon basically rapes Batman? Uh, I didn't want to watch The Killing Joke, I think it was, but I don't want to watch that. I don't need a rated R or PG Batman animated series. They keep saying they're going to bring the normal animated series back again, and that was a great series. Yeah, Killing Joke, that's it. And I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't care. Kind of like the Harley Quinn show. I actually kind of enjoy the Harley Quinn show, but at the same time, it's absolute blasphemous to a lot of the characters. But you can't deny that it's funny as hell. It really is. I hadn't seen that one yet. Um, and see, you're also right that they pump those out too quick. There does seem to be another one of those every couple months, and while there's tons of space on HBO in the DC section, there's only so much you can do with physical media anymore. And I actually picked up a whole bunch of those at the dollar store. The several of the Justice League ones and a couple Batman ones were all $1 a piece, and I couldn't not buy it, for $1. I haven't seen Stargirl yet. I still haven't seen any of the what was DC Plus, whatever their thing was called. I haven't seen any of the Teen Titans. I haven't seen the Doom Patrol. I haven't seen Stargirl. I'm very far behind in my DC world. In fact, I only finished season 3 of Arrow. I think I was on season 2 of Flash. I haven't seen any of the League of the Time Traveling Peoples or Black Lightning. In fact, I'm 4 or 5 seasons behind in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I just don't sit and watch hour-long dramas, even comic book ones anymore. And that's what's nice. That's why, I didn't mind getting tricked into HBO Max. Mostly got it for Wonder Woman because I had high hopes for that. But now I can go back and I can watch them as stuff. And on the weekends when I'm forced to work I can when I get stuff done, it's the only streaming service that isn't blocked. So I'm trying to get some stuff watched that way. That's why I started with Harley Quinn. So I'm hoping for better stuff from it. And I don't know what's everybody's take on Zack Snyder's Justice League. I can't decide if I'm going to watch it or not. I really don't have time to sit and watch a 4-hour movie. So I'm not really sure what's going. Well, that'd be great because I love Justice League Unlimited. I love that a lot of the cartoons are on HBO Plus. Same thing with Disney Plus. I love that a lot of the Marvel cartoons are out there, and I can rewatch a lot of those. Sorry. But the Snyderverse, I don't like his directing style. I just meh. So we'll see. if I watch it, I'll do a video, a review of it. But I'm pretty sure I just won't sit for 4 hours and watch this unless I do it at work and get paid for it. So if I'm done with everything I need to do for the day, and I'm still stuck there for another 3 or 4 hours, I may start it. Kind of like Wonder Woman. I watched half of it at work, got bored, turned it off, and then came home and eventually watched the rest. Well, somebody had said that they were going to break it into 3 parts and that they're basically going to kind of release it as television episodes. But that clearly isn't what's happening because they're not saying anything about that in the trailer. So I'm not sure what's going on with it. Because I would have thought by now they would have said, okay, March 15th, part 1 of Justice League, and then part 2 coming, which is initially what was supposed to happen, remember? Remember, Justice League was always supposed to be 2 movies. And they were just supposed to be released 6 months apart. And then that all fell apart when his daughter passed away. And then Josh came in and, tried to fix it. So, I mean, maybe they will. That would piss so many people off if they start watching it and it just ends. They're like, come back April 15th for the conclusion of Justice League. That would be very funny. I would give him a lot of credit for that if he did that. But, because I just don't think, the Lord of the Rings movies were hard enough to sit through, which is stupid because I've sat through the 10 hours of extra stuff on the discs and I've still never finished watching the movies because I just don't sit and watch stuff for that long anymore. The internet and the phones have broken us. I found I'll have to bring it out next time. I found a ticket that I had it was called the Star Trek Sit All Day Marathon. And it was when Star Trek 6 was coming out. And they showed all 5 Star Trek movies in a row and then showed us Star Trek 6. Kind of like the trilogy. I found my ticket for the Star Wars trilogy back from 90 or whenever, 80 something. And I can't sit like that anymore. But and life, that's cool. You can't fault for what Josh tried to do to fix things, but it almost would have been better for them to have stopped production on it and then moved forward because they couldn't fix things that they knew were wrong with Batman versus Superman, which the extended version of Batman versus Superman is a much better movie than just Batman versus Superman. And same with that new Ghostbusters movie. The Answer the Call, the extended version is much better. It still has all that stupid slapstick comedy stuff in it that doesn't belong in a Ghostbusters movie. But it expanded the characters out. And it gave a little more plot, which is what that movie was missing. Oh, man, Nathan, I could not. Oh, yeah, I could not do that. I saw people doing that, and I'm like, and then the theater my buddy ran it from, I think they started at 6 a.m. and they ran till midnight. And then your ticket was good for the next day to come in at 6 a.m. and do a whole nother day. They didn't run them all back to back because, some of those people needed to go home, the workers for the most part. So, Nathan, I could not. My roommates are working their way through all of the Marvel universe at the moment, and they get about a movie or so done a day. But sometimes I can push them to 2 movies, and I could probably watch. I could watch Endgame and Infinity War together. That wouldn't be too bad. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. But at least you've got like Iron Man 2 and Thor 2 that you can go to the bathroom, get some food, come back, Oh yeah, definitely, Frank. I did that. We've watched all 5 of the Planet of the Apes movies. Um, I don't remember when we did that. It was not too long before the Tim Burton version came out. But if Frank, have you seen the documentary Behind the Planet of the Apes? It's a great documentary about 2.5 hours long on the making of the Planet of the Apes movies and a little bit on the TV series and stuff like that. And it's great. One of the best things I've ever seen. And it's Microsoft is throwing up something weird at me. I don't care about whatever you have to say, Microsoft. No, unfortunately, there is a trailer for it on YouTube, but it is part of several of the box sets. Let me make sure. I'm not actually sure, but it goes into the whole development of it. Oops. Behind the Planet of the Apes. No. No, actually, it doesn't look like it is anymore. They used to have a trailer for it and stuff, but it looks like that's all gone. But it is part of several different DVD sets that you can get. I wish I could. Wish I could show you that. That is really cool. But you got up to Thor 2 and then had to leave. Yeah. You know, that's not a bad show. Very formulaic, very 70s kind of show. I liked the animated series. The animated series was really well done because it was closer to the original book, where the apes have helicopters and tanks and all that stuff, which is where Tim Burton was going at the end of his movie. And you have to admit the makeup and stuff in that movie was incredible. Just amazing. It was nowhere near as good as the new, the last 3 of the films. Those were incredibly well done. But I really didn't mind the Tim Burton one. Plus, I'm a sucker for Danny Elfman's score. So, but frankly, you might be able to find it on Amazon or something. I'm not sure if it's actually sold separately anymore. But definitely try and find that if you can. It's a great, great documentary. And those new Mego figures that are coming look great because they look more like classic Mego, of course, Planet of the Apes figures. But those Mezco ones, my goodness, those are incredible. The Dr. Zaius is already out. It's $89. And the 2 that are coming up are Caesar and Worker Gorillas from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And they're just incredible. Just incredible. And yeah, Franco, I don't know why I've suddenly gotten into Planet of the Apes again. I started about 5-6 years ago re-getting into that again. I'm not really sure why. It just popped back up on my radar somehow. And I would really love to see all those back in the theater again. There's got to be an anniversary coming up for it at some point. So maybe we'll get a remastered edition put out into theaters, if we're ever allowed to go to theater again. Yeah. Planet of the Apes has always been so cool. And, the original French book that it's based on was more about coming to a more like our world. And I think changing it to a more, not primitive, but, downscaled world without helicopters, without Jeeps, which they couldn't afford because the makeup was so expensive. really helped cement that. I think if it was just monkeys driving in tanks and jeeps instead of that iconic scene with that theme with the ape on the horse and just, oh my goodness. Cool. That General Ursus figure, that was the Hasbro signature series. Those are really cool. Yeah, and Sleeping In, it was a time of dystopia and stuff, when those were made in the 60s. And you kind of move that out into the 80s with Mad Max and with Terminator and things like that. And then it reoccurs again another 20 years later with stuff like The Hunger Games and The Walking Dead and more of the horror, 28 Days Later type thing. It's always a very cyclical thing. Um, you know, that's cool, Nathan. Was it the one in the ape head? They had a really cool one that basically had Cornelius's head, and you took the top of Cornelius's head off, and that's where all the discs were. It was actually kind of creepy, but I always wanted to get that, and I never did get to have it. It was far too expensive. And Life, whatever happened to that sequel? You know, oh yeah, Heston was, between that and Towering Inferno, and Soylent Green. He was all kinds of sci-fi king. Nate, that's the one I have, and I'm pretty sure it has that documentary in it on one of the last discs. You might look. Um, I put all mine onto my drive, so I have it up and I can watch it whenever I want. But I don't know exactly what set it's in anymore. But I love talking about Planet of the Apes and old series like that. You just don't get, stuff like that a lot anymore. And then the last Mad Max movie, Fury Road, was really good. And, oh yeah, Life. Look at Batman 66. Batman 66 couldn't come out on DVD or almost anything on VHS simply because nobody knew who owned what. Fox owned the show. Of course, Warner Brothers owned the characters. There was a gentleman who owned the theme song. There's another person who owns the Batmobile. And then every guest star, when they go up the side of the building and they lean out the window and, whatever, each one of those actors owned their own likeness rights. And that's what took so long to get Batman 66 out onto DVD. And Disney even ran into that with the Muppets, because it took forever to get all 5 seasons of the Muppets out, and even they're not complete at the moment. So the Muppet Show, if you go through and look on Disney Plus, season 5 is the worst, but every episode should be 27 minutes long. And there are several episodes that are only 21 or 25, and they've had to remove songs out because they can't get the rights to them. Which you would think Disney owns everything, but okay, Sleeping. We'll talk about the Muppets and stuff later. But yeah, Nate, that documentary is should be on that 6th disc, and you should definitely check it out. Excuse me again. But yeah, lawyers screw everything up. The Addams Family is the same way. Only recently did everything get back to Paramount, because Paramount owned the show, Fox owned the song, the Addams Family Trust owned the characters, and something else. Oh, and there's something else in there. So there were 4 people who owned it. and it just gets so bad. Yeah, the Logan's Run series was weird. That was when they were just taking, again, not that they don't do that now, except they do it in reverse, where they take TV shows and make them into meteoric movies. You have like Logan's Run, that and Planet of the Apes, where they were successful movies and they thought they could move them into a different form. And you know, I don't. Logan's Run just didn't have enough story to keep it going. Apart from nobody watching it, but yeah, Logan's Run is definitely getting a reboot. That was a Warner Brothers project not too long ago, and then I think it kind of got stalled when the C word started. Um, but there's also a new Fraggle Rock coming. We'll talk about that next time, sleeping, so you don't have to get up. But kind of like the new Dark Crystal stuff, which I thought was incredible. I don't see why it didn't get a second season. And the new Labyrinth movie is supposedly coming. But again, we're talking Muppet stuff. Sorry. What I also think could use a reboot maybe is Farscape. That would be something you could reboot again. I don't think you need to do. They're talking about doing another Stargate and starting over, and that's kind of like a Star Trek thing where you really shouldn't redo it. It has too much. There's like 5 shows, and you can't wipe all that canon and then just start over. Yeah, that's another one of those where the movie's completely different. That's why this whole thing about they're talking about a Harry Potter series on HBO, and they're not really talking about what it would be anymore. Is it going to be reshooting the movies except actually doing everything from the books onto a series? Is it going to be an in-betweenquel when we find out what happened to them after they left school, but before 19 years later? Does it jump forward even further? But I would love to see a new Harry Potter series. Those kids did a great job, for what they were given. But there's so much missing from the Potter books that could easily be, each one of those books could easily be an 8-part series. And then when you get to the thicker books, you do 12. And it would be Game of Thrones for Harry Potter. But I think Farscape could be redone. But they've tried certain things. Farscape kind of, I think Farscape kind of ran out of juice. But I think given a little bit better talent of writers and given the time that's gone, they're talking about they're rebooting Firefly, mostly as a comic, but Disney's talking about rebooting it as a series, which I'm not sure if it'll work anymore, simply because of everything going on with him and the Buffy stuff. So Disney probably won't bring him back in to help with the series. And I'm not sure if the Browncoats will put up with a Firefly series that doesn't have him at the helm in some way. So it'd be interesting to see if that even moves forward anymore. You have to be careful with that kind of stuff. Like the X-Files did pretty well, and then the last series wasn't as good. Or I didn't mind the Twin Peaks revival, but you don't need to do it again. Don't keep going to the well, or you're going to you're gonna empty it, and you don't want to do that. So I don't know. It's one of those things where there's lots of space now for shows, whether it's Netflix or Paramount or Disney or whatever, to actually try things. And that's why I like Lock and Key and things like that on Netflix, where you can try things. And if they work, they work. And if they don't, you pull the plug and you get out. Amazon has done some decent work. Good Omens, if you guys haven't seen that was an incredibly well done series and very close to the book. Yeah. Frank, you are 100% right. You have to get people who understand the source material. That's why Favreau and Filoni do so well, because they understand and love the source material. Um, J.J. Abrams came out and said, "No, I don't like Star Trek. I like Star Wars better." And then went to make a Star Wars movie set in the Star Trek universe, and you know it didn't work. And then he tried to remake Wrath of Khan. Why would you try and remake Wrath of Khan? And then the third movie, which was a little better, because it tried to be its own thing finally. Just meh. But you're right. If you don't have people who understand, that's why the Dark Crystal redo did well, because Henson's family was involved, and his kid was involved, and the people who did the original movie were involved. Um, that's why I think the Marvel movies work well, because for the most part, you have people who have been Marvel fans running them, and you have somebody at the head who tries to step in and say, "Okay, that's a little crazy. Calm down, simmer down," and you work your way in. Star Wars keeps making the same mistake over and over again, giving it to people who say they're fans but don't, who aren't. Ryan Johnson does not understand Luke Skywalker. Zack Snyder does not understand Superman. None of the people writing the new DC movies understand Superman. I don't get how hard it is. He's a giant flying Boy Scout who loves to help people and feels bad when he can't. And it's, yes, Watchmen was epic. And, at Jurassic, that's kind of the same. Hey, Arcade, how you doing? Is run. I keep looking at things like Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi and think, like a lot of us did, if you'd have just shown me this script, I could have pointed out 5 or 6 errors you were making that you could have fixed before you moved into that. Same with Wonder Woman 84. Dear God, why didn't somebody take that script and give it to a fan or somebody who is currently writing Wonder Woman and say, "Here you go, read this. This isn't rapey or anything, is it? This isn't just jumping and making stupid decisions for no reason, right?" And everybody would have said, "Well, yeah, actually it is. Fix this bit and this bit." Hey, Darth Braze, how you doing? No worries, dude. We're just hanging out. What are you cooking? Actually, I need to go eventually have something for supper, too. But yeah, the Superman movies are underrated except 3 and 4, which are god-awful. But I actually liked Superman Returns. I thought that I didn't like the whole kid aspect of it, but I thought it moved forward well. And, honestly, what's his name was a great Lex Luthor. But then Superman versus Batman came and it was horrible. But Superman Man of Steel I kind of liked. There were still bits of it he didn't understand. Superman, he didn't understand why he would sacrifice himself or something. The stuff with his dad and yeah, the super baby was just. I mean, it's a logical jump if you're moving from Superman 2 to this, because they were just erasing Superman 3 and 4. But hey, Space Buns, how you doing? Make sure you stay 6 feet away from sleeping. Just like throw donuts or something at him and then leave the room. Yeah, Martha. Oh my goodness, Martha. If you have seen the extended version, it really does fix a lot of the problems. It doesn't fix that problem, but it does actually fix quite a lot of the problems with the film. It it fixes all the stuff with Clark, Clark is actually a reporter who does stuff, and he just doesn't come across things. Same with Lois. Lois actually investigates things. Bruce is actually doing some detective work. Again, they took some of the plot and just removed it. It's, I just, I mean, again, how do you shoot that and not turn around and say, that was for the blooper reel? Because I don't, yeah, no. That whole thing was, and then why did Wonder Woman need to be in it at all? Why did Doomsday need to be in it at all? That it was like they took 2 or 3 good ideas for movies and crammed them together. I get that they were trying to get to Justice League, and so they had to have Wonder Woman in there. But, like I've said before, they worked backwards, and they shouldn't have worked backwards. I wish I could have fallen asleep because I kept thinking it was going to get better. And the whole Gotham and Metropolis are basically, across the bay from each other. And how does Clark Kent not know who Bruce Wayne is? He lives across the bay. That's like living, in San Francisco and not knowing who Elon Musk is, who just happens to live in Oakland or something. It's crazy so much. And the Lex Luthor character was horribly written, but even he was fixed a little bit in the extended version. We will all go down punching that the Joker movie was great. It had its own small flaws, but that was a movie that rightfully disturbed a lot of people, and not in the way they thought it would. They were all going to go nuts that, they call these people incels and people like that, and they're all going to rise up and attack the world, like the movie. But, everybody was like, actually, we can see why, I didn't like that it made me feel okay about the Joker. Now, toward the end, when he actually went nuts, then he's the Joker, and you can see that, and you can get with him. But until then, you're like, of course, he's mentally challenged. He's not, can't get on his meds. His mom keeps feeding him these lies. The world literally kicks him in the head all the time, and that movie was just so good. And it's the story of a man who's desperately looking for a father figure, somebody who's more stable in his life than his mother, who can help him. And he just wants somebody to explain the world to him. And that movie came out at a weird time for me and the country, really. And, I read a lot into that movie, I think. But, yeah, I still haven't seen the Aquaman movie. The first Wonder Woman was great. It really is. Heath was a great Joker, but I will go down swinging again, saying the only reason that movie is any good is because Christopher Nolan wasn't allowed to do any reshoots because Heath had passed. He has a bad habit of going in and touching his movies and changing them slightly. That's what happened with Dark Knight Rises. He went back and changed things, and I think Heath is my second favorite Joker after the animated series Joker. It's animated series Joker, and then Heath Ledger, and then Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, and Joaquin Phoenix. But Shazam, yeah. Shazam was a great film. It understood its source material. Now they've waited too long. They can't do a sequel. Those kids are too old. They're going to have to recast the kids. And what's his name, the star, he's looking his age now. And so you can't have him be that. So they got to almost recast completely again. Darth, I can't wait. I'll probably set up that live stream announcement tomorrow for Friday morning, 1 a.m. Mountain Time. I'll be here, and we can watch it together. It's I can't wait. I don't even want to guess anymore. I just don't. Now I don't know where they're heading, and I don't care. I just want to go. I want to be on the trip and just want to move forward, and that's all I really want. Yeah, the only reason we have any Batman is because of the '89 movie and the animated series. The animated series moved it forward, and you know, uh, man, your whole house is down, Space Buns. That you're going to have to wear masks inside to keep that all away from you. Yep. Pacific time, 12 a.m. It's 1 a.m. Mountain time, 2 a.m. Central time, and 3 a.m. East Coast time. I'll be here, and we can sit and watch it together. Hopefully, as long as it doesn't crash again. That was kind of a bummer last week, having to wait almost a half hour for it to come back online. But hopefully, Disney will fix that issue. Jurassic. I love Cesar Romero. He's hilarious. He's great in the show. Him and Burgess Meredith, and and Eartha Kitt, and I mean, it had an incredible cast, and it's just this craziest show, but it works. Kind of like Gotham. If any of you guys watched Gotham, Gotham was a nuts show, and it's basically what would happen if somebody took the '66 Batman and made it dark, and gritty. And because some of those episodes were just insane. But, Gotham worked. It really did. Yeah, the Frank Gorshin Riddler, he's my favorite Riddler. Vincent Price's Egghead, yeah. And you had, wasn't Elizabeth Taylor in it as Cleopatra? Yeah, I think she was. And Victor someone as King Tut, he's great. All their guest characters, speaking of Planet of the Apes, Rodney McDowall as the Bookworm, it did great. See, Darth, I wasn't dumb enough to get up in the middle of the night during Mandalorian and try and do this. I did it after. Gotham was great. I didn't see the finale. I missed most of season 5, but really it worked well. And not bad. It was Darth. It was some Star Wars Micro Machines and Asterix, the Gull figures from Europe, some Star Trek, and a little bit of Star Wars stuff, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Actually, it's a cool box. I'm going to probably put some of this stuff up on the wall tomorrow. But yeah, it's And has anybody, now this is an open question to anybody who's watched or done anything. Does anybody know what's going on with the new Jurassic Park movie? Did that get anything beyond preliminary stuff? Did they even start shooting that? Because you don't hear anything about it at all anymore. All these other movies have moved into into Christmas, or it's moved into next year. But I don't know whatever happened to Jurassic Park or whatever. I can't remember what this new one's called. But Franco, I would like to see a NECA Batman 66 would be great. See, and that's what I thought. I thought they were done and maybe working on. I thought maybe Jurassic Custom knew too. That they're just working on the post-production stuff, and then maybe it's coming out next summer, I would suppose. All these movies are now a couple years behind, and that's just, it's done. Dune moved back to Christmas of this year. Jurassic Park, James Bond moved to November. Ghostbusters with stuff on the shelves again. Poor Target and that Ecto One that's going to sit there until Thanksgiving and Easter. You know. Okay, sleeping. I did not know. And see, did Sam Neill have a breakdown? Because I know most of the original cast is back in it, which I can never go wrong with more Jeff Goldblum. Oh man, I hope he's better. I'm gonna have to go tomorrow and look around and see how he's doing. Last time I knew, had shipped back out to New Zealand, but really, that NECA Jaws Quinn that's going to be cool, huh? I love that NECA has these old licenses as doing stuff with them, and I love that everybody like you guys buy them. Somebody my age, or what I can assume Franco's age, um, you know, we wouldn't think that you guys would care about Jaws or Planet of the Apes, that kind of thing. I know they're classic movies, but you show classic movies, some of these classic movies to millennials or to Zoomers, and they're like, "Oh, the effects are horrible." They're groundbreaking. You don't have anything without Planet of the Apes. You don't have Star Wars. Without Star Wars, you don't have Terminator. Without Terminator, you don't have Jurassic Park. Without Jurassic Park, you don't have the prequels. Without the prequels, you don't have Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings movies. You know, it's you know, everything builds. And that's life. I could kind of tell with some of your things too, but uh, Franco definitely aged himself in with that, seeing the five of them in the theater in the 70s, because that was a huge push then. That documentary is so cool because they go into that whole thing about showing all the movies, putting them all five out into the theater. Can you believe that um, the Planet of the Apes movies are all rated G? Go back and watch Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and tell me that is a rated G movie. Crazy. And Spaceman's I love classic movies. I watch a lot of. I grew up watching classic movies on TV, of course. That's where we saw Casablanca and the Laurel and Hardy and the Stooges and stuff like that you just don't get to see anymore. And I follow Ashley. Can't remember her name at the moment, and she does. It's called Millennial Movie Monday, and she is hilarious. She's a millennial that goes back and watches older movies, and it's amazing the things. She's like, I can't believe I never got to see this. This is amazing. She just did Romancing the Stone, and it's. She was like, this is a really good movie. It's like, yeah, it's a great film. I'm on her Patreon, and she's going to do next week as one of my suggestions. She's going to do Clue, and oh yeah, Franco is yes, especially. Well, can you imagine The Searchers? The Searchers would definitely be, or some of Hang 'Em High, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly would probably be at least close to rated R. Yeah, The Little Rascals. Uh, all those old things. I really wish and I'm sure they're being played somewhere. That's what I've loved about WandaVision. WandaVision has brought people back to talking about the Dick Van Dyke Show, about um, the Brady Bunch, Bewitched. In fact, there's two new Bewitched pops from Funko coming out. One with Samantha, and one with her mom, or Honora. Yeah, and then they did two Dicks, but those don't look like they're coming out. So we'll be Dickless for a while. But I do want to get that Samantha and Honora. I'm fine with the world ending in a zombie apocalypse as long as they're Night of the Living Dead zombies. Those fast moving zombies, you know, uh, they scare me. But Franco, could you imagine a the Nameless Man Neko figure or a hot toy? That would be, you know, yeah. Nobody wants to be dickless. Whether it's Sergeant or York, we need a dick. You know. Yes, and Cat in the Hat should not be live action. Much like when they remade The Grinch, I thought the Jim Carrey version was okay, but I really thought the animated version really caught the Grinch a lot better. Um, and Resident Evil um, is being remade right now, and they are keeping closer to the original games. Yeah, rule one, cardio. So, you know, give me some stuff and I'll be fine. Give me a couple machetes or something, and I'll be good. But I don't. No fast zombies. No, that's okay. I'm good with the little slow little walkers that you can basically walk up and stab in the head and just stabby stabby, and that's that. Yeah, all the Blazing Saddles is probably one of my favorite comedies. It's definitely my favorite Mel Brooks movie. My favorite Mel Brooks movies are definitely uh, Blazing Saddles, and then probably Young Frankenstein, and then Spaceballs, then Men in Tights, The Producers, and then it gets a little muddled after that, and whether it's uh, History of the World Part One, but somewhere around in there. Oh, Walker's on. I hear this episode he takes his shirt off, Darth. Getting you some of that Padalecki action. It's funny that they ever thought that that guy could be Conan. If you go back and watch season 5 of Supernatural, that's why he bulks up so much. Um, or maybe it's in season 6 when he comes back. But he actually tried out for Conan and, obviously lost to Jason Momoa because, look at him. But, you know, I liked Robots. Robots was a great little film. That's a sleeper that nobody really talks about. Um, you know, I didn't really care for the AVP movies just because I don't think that should have been how they were crossed. I really wish they would have just shot the Dark Horse comics. Um, oh yeah, yep. Maybe this is the one Jensen's in because Jensen's supposed to be on the show. So yeah, Robots is so just not anywhere. It gets played every so often. Um, I think I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't Disney own Robots now? Because that was a uh, DreamWorks project. I think they picked up a lot of DreamWorks stuff. I'll have to go look and see. The first AVP was much better than the second. Um, but if they'd have just moved out, again, it was going backwards. These shows and series need to stop going backwards, like the new Predator movie. The new Predator movie is based on the First Peoples. What in the, you know, not to belittle the abilities of First Peoples warriors, were they really a match for a Predator? I mean, maybe somehow he loses all his guns and equipment, and he's down to just a knife and a spear or whatever. But depending on when this is set, the native or the First Peoples won't have horses, so or bows and arrows. So it'll be interesting to see when that gets set. But quit going backwards. Go forward. It's what makes Jason X the best Friday the 13th movie, because you don't need to watch any of the others because you know he survives forever. That's why when Jason versus Freddy came out, I was like, well, we know who wins. Jason's in space already. I love Will Smith. He does, apart from the god awful Wild Wild West movie, I've pretty much liked most movies he's in. And the Scooby Doo movies were pretty bad. Not nearly as bad as this new Scoob thing was. That was horrible. Um, the last Predator movie was not bad. Life. I thought it was a good kind of reboot. I don't know what Predator needs. There seems to be something missing in the movies that just don't click anymore. Like those first two did so well. I don't know what it is. You know. The song, okay, I'll give you that the song is good. I would play you the real theme song, which is much better. Because Wild Wild West was another one of those shows I'd watch on Saturdays or Sundays. And I love that show. Robert Conrad was great. You'd watch that and you'd watch Baba Black Sheep. And I loved both those shows. I think they consider that a reboot, Life? I don't remember. Yeah, yes. When Predator 2 came out, it was not well liked at all. And when Jason versus New York came out, that really wasn't very well done at all. Um, but yeah, Predator 2, I liked it, but I like Danny Glover. So, oh, Emma Peel. Look for another strong female character. There you go. And the other flip side of that is Barbara Feldman from Get Smart. Both smart, strong women, making sure their men don't go astray, but for completely different reasons. In fact, I just got, let me show you guys this. My comic book store I got all my Marvel figures. Oh, the new Marvel figures, the new 3 3/4 inches have begun hitting Targets. I've seen a couple different people with them now, so I'm gonna have to start going and looking. They repackaged most of them, but there are 2 new figures, including Captain Marvel and I don't remember what else. But they got this in at the store, and it's got a very bad faded picture here, and then this here is Barbara Feldman's autograph, who played 66. But the Don Adams is really good, and of course he was also Inspector Gadget, and so they let me have this for $10 because really, from their point of view, this is the only thing good in here. From my point of view, I have this picture signed by Barbara Feldman, and I also have another autograph of hers that I can put in here. So for $10, it was worth it for the frame and everything. So, see you later, Jurassic. But yeah, there's some new art, but you're not gonna trick me unless they're on some sort of sale. I'm not buying duplicates just because. I already have those cool black ones. I don't need. There's a Spider-Man on a different card. There's Electro on a different card. There's Black Panther on a different card, and there's Captain America on a different card. So there's these 4 are in different cards, and then there's 2 new ones, which is Captain Marvel and somebody else I can't think of at the moment. But I'm not going down that path. My whole point of this year is to cut down on what I have, and especially duplicates of. I traveled down that path with Star Wars for decades. Honestly, how many Darth Vader figures are there? Probably at least 40, and he never changes his uniform. There's just a little bit, but I have them in a orange package and a green package and the Legends package and the vintage figure, and then I have them in the Clone Wars packaging, and we have them in the Episode 2 packaging. We have them in Episode 3 packaging. I mean, Sandra, you know me, and in the end, probably will too. I'm just, yeah, like there's a billion of them. I'd actually thought about reorganizing my entire Star Wars collection if I actually can put most of them up by character. But then they're just going to add a character and it'll fuck everything up. So I'm just going to put them in, all the 1996 orange figures, then the green figures, and then Episode 1 and Episode 2, Episode 3, and all the trilogy figures and all those stuff. I'm going to try and figure out what I'm missing so I can try and fill holes, because I know I'm missing a few from the Clone Wars stuff. Because that was, for some reason, that was another time I got mad at Star Wars and stopped collecting. I pretty much stopped collecting everything at that point. And then Funko pulled me back in. That's a rat hole I wish I would have never went down. But Darth only fans. But I guess I actually probably wrapped this up. Oh my goodness, we've been talking for almost 2 hours again. I mean, I'll hang around and keep talking with you guys, but those 40th anniversary figures, I love those figures. Do you mean the 6-inch ones or the 3 3/4 inch ones? Yeah, Frank, me too. I have someday I'll actually go through. Maybe my last mystery box will be my toy chest. But I do have quite a few still on card from 78 through 83. Now, I love those 6-inch. If you keep putting those on those cards, I'll buy them all the time. So, life would be so nice. I just found out that I'm at least working 6 days a week through April, and the vacation I put in for was canceled. So, yeah, that's 1 day off a week is all I'm getting at the moment. I wish I would have gotten those 6-inch Episode 1 figures they put on cards. There was Star Wars Celebration a couple years ago. They're so expensive now, I can't afford them. And they're going to start re-releasing those here shortly. So, and I'll buy them because I'm stupid and Uncle George takes all my money. But, I just need to fill holes in my 3 3/4 inch figures. I'll fill holes in my Black Series as I find them or if I decide I want them. I consciously made an effort not to collect Black Series figures. You can see how well that went. And that's not even half of what I have. Sure, I'm up for it anytime. I worked 17 years in retail. I worked for Woolworth and Toys R Us and KB Toys, and I even did my obligatory 6-7 months at Walmart. So it's I did my time in the trenches, as they say. So I'm up for any time. And if any of you guys have live streams and you want me to pop in, I'd be glad to. I'm going to try and get with Mr. Stargill and maybe get him on a live stream, maybe Saturday or Sunday this week. And I'd love to get Sleeping on Life. I'd love to have you on. Anybody, Darth, be hilarious to have you on. So anytime I want to get together and so I can figure out how this invitation thing works. So, but yeah, I'd love to have any of you guys in. And if you're doing a stream and you want somebody to just sit in and BS with, I'm generally around. If you see me in the thing, unless I'm at work, and then of course I don't have a thing. I work till generally 2 p.m. Um, uh, Monday through Saturday now, and so I'm usually home by 2:30. So that's why I pop out in the evenings. Well, Darth, there's a lot of weed jobs out here. That'd be cool. The mafia guys are great. Okay, Darth, I might pop in. I'm gonna go probably make some supper and then stop by and see what's going on. I need to be. I get up at 5 for work, so I'll need to be in bed no later than 10 my time. So that's like 3.5 hours away or so. But yeah, that'd be great, Life. I'd love to come on and pick you guys' brains. It's I love sitting here, but and talking at you guys, but it's always funner to have the back and forth. Um, you know, not as much as Rocco does. Love Rocco to death, but man, he's having like 4 people on at a time, and they talk over each other, and then it can be a little much. Cool, Franco. That sounds great. I'd love to start watching them. I love watching people's live streams, especially when I'm at work, because I can put it on in the background and I can just chime in every so often. The guys at work get a kick out of them sometimes. They really like Nate, and they think Rocco's a little obnoxious, but that's Rocco's character. He's just New Jersey. You just have to understand that's just New Jersey. But so, well, let me sign off here, guys. Thank you all for staying and hanging out. Again, another Mystery Monday down. I'll probably continue doing these as live streams, just because it's a little easier. Plus, we get to talk about stuff. Yeah. Well, and me and Sleeping were talking about this, not too long ago, that maybe starting like either on his stream or somebody who has more viewers, more subscribers, almost a talk show where you invite a different collector or toy hunter to your channel on like Wednesdays at 5 or something. And then you talk to them about how they started collecting, what they collect, what they're kind of doing at the moment, and get a different collector or toy hunter every week. And then, keep them on for an hour or so, commit to like an hour and then go from there. But it's kind of an idea I'm knocking around, and Sleeping's been working on a little bit too. So, but all right, guys, I will talk to you later. Again, thanks for dropping by. Darth, I might drop by and say hey later once I go downstairs and see how much is involved in whatever I'm going to decide to have for supper. So, talk to you all later. Thank you again. Like your collector spotlight. I do like that. Peace out, everybody. Talk to you later.